Not all cars are created equal, and nor are they designed to just get you from A to B. The Jeep Wrangler is certainly one of those, and yet it is so much more. It's a lifestyle all unto its own. And we have come to the picturesque Lake Tahoe in California to test the 6th generation Wrangler for the first time.
It might look similar to the last one, but Jeep considers the Wrangler in the same way Porsche does about the 911. This is an icon of its type. But don't let its evolutionary looks deceive you, as the Wrangler is a ground-up, all-new model that is lighter, stronger, more efficient, and has even greater off-road capabilities than before. Believe it or not, it is even more aerodynamic too.
It's also significantly improved inside too, with a better presentation in the dashboard, more connectivity and technology, and more space. The driving position is more accommodating, the seats are comfy, and in the 4-door model, there's particularly more legroom. And there's the latest in connectivity through this 8-inch colour touchscreen, which has sat-nav, digital radio, Bluetooth, and even 4-wheel driving specific apps.
Available as either a short wheelbase 2-door or long wheelbase 4-door, both still continue to offer the open-air experience the Wrangler is renowned for. The 2-door features a new soft top that is easier to undress, while the 4-door can be had with a clever hardtop that features a retractable fabric roof and removable rear windows. Uniquely, both still feature a folding windscreen and removable doors too.
That open air feeling is really cool, and we've only just taken the 2 panels out of the top of the roof, because in this one, in the 4-door, you can take the rear windows off and everything.
Jeep also claims the Wrangler has better on-road manners than its predecessor, despite retaining live axles at both ends and a body-on-frame construction. But then again, that wouldn't be hard to achieve, as the current one is a bit of a chore around town.
And to some degree, they are right, because this car immediately feels more refined. Part of that now comes from the fact it has electric power steering rather than a hydraulic system, and that allows them a lot more tunability, and it reduces some of that on-centre vagueness that the last one had. The suspension is also reasonably well sorted as well, despite its agricultural underpinnings. It has live front and rear axles, so it's not as sophisticated as a normal SUV, but in some regards, it's quite comfortable to drive. Sure, you'll feel every bump, but it's not crashy or bashy at all. This isn't a sports car though, and it still does lean quite heavily through the bends. The steering is relatively responsive, but you need a lot of it to turn around the corners. And those big 4-wheel drive tyres, well, they're not suited for the Nürburgring, let's put it that way. Similarly, that V6 engine might seem a little antiquated in modern standards, but it perfectly fits the character of this car.
Jeep Australia is still finalising details of the all-new Wrangler before it arrives in Australia around February next year, with prices expected to start from around $40,000 and top out in the mid-50s. Under the bonnet, the Wrangler will be offered locally with a choice of a 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine or a revised version of the 3.6-litre petrol V6 that produces 209 kilowatts of power and 350 newton meters of torque. There's a new 8-speed automatic gearbox and improved 4-wheel drive transmissions across the board, with either a permanent all-wheel drive in the urban-focused flagship Overland for the first time, a conventional 2-speed transfer case in sport models, and Jeep's unique Rock Track gearbox with ultra-low crawl ratios in the Rubicon, which also features big 32-inch Kevlar reinforced tyres and a disconnecting front sway bar for greater wheel articulation.
It's got good low rev pulling power and a nice gentle tip-in on the throttle, which makes it great for 4-wheel driving. It's also hooked up to an 8-speed automatic, which makes better use of that power delivery, and it shifts pretty well, nice and smooth on the fly, but it doesn't have paddle shifters. Instead, you have to use the manual function on the gear lever. This is a car that's full of character, and it really does have a lifestyle all to its own.
Yes, the Wrangler is an easier car to live with every day, but that doesn't mean it's gone soft. It's an even better off-roader than before, with improved ground clearance, more aggressive entry and departure angles, and better underbody protection.
But then despite all of those on-road compromises, and while absolutely much better than before, it all makes sense when you're out here in the bush, because this thing is hugely capable. Even in standard form, we are crawling across some really gnarly terrain without diff locks, and this thing has amazing wheel articulation. The petrol V6 engine actually is really good for this, because it's got that low down torque and that early tip in. So you really don't need much throttle at all. This Jeep Wrangler is so capable. It's unbelievable. And really, this is the lifestyle that it's built for. And this is in standard form. So Mopar, which is the FCA's aftermarket division, has a myriad of options for the Wrangler that can take it even further and make it even more extreme. Lift kits, bigger tyres, bigger suspension, body protection, all of that sort of stuff. You can make the Wrangler however hardcore you want it to be. All of that proves that not all cars are created equal, and the Jeep Wrangler is certainly amongst that. It is much better on and off the road than before, and it will comfortably get you from A to B better than ever, but it will get you further from A to Z like nothing else.